Today we're going to look at the taxpayer-funded filicide of the state of Ohio. Yes, they get money from federal spending bills to help care for dogs. There it is, $1.25 million. And this isn't the first time or the last time probably that this state is going to take taxpayer money from their citizens and the rest of the country so that they can spoil and propagate and push for the ownership of these animals that kill their children. I was recently excited to find out a couple documentaries came out of the Cincinnati Enquirer in Ohio, but it looks like this is just full of more BS dog propaganda. So notice this right here. The mom and the daughter are talking about the story of how the daughter was attacked by a dog. But I want you guys to notice something. This is the core issue of dog culture, and it's right at the bottom of your screen.
I was holding her. She didn't want me to leave. So the scrub nurse got up into the stretcher with her and held her and looked at.
You guys see the problem? Right there. A filthy flea motel turd shooting dog. That's right. The whole problem here is that dangerous dog owners, they want every single piece of access and right that these dogs have right here. And so when we push dogs as the precious, kissy poodle, derpa noodle, blah, 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 that propaganda goes everywhere. You know one of the main places that propaganda goes? Right into the developing brain of the child. That's right. So this little girl right here, she has been raised in a dog-loving family, which means that she has been encouraged to get close to dogs, kiss dogs, look at them as this perfect little family friend. And so how is it that she got close to a dog enough to get her face ripped to shreds and have this terrible situation? Yep. The primary dog culture tenet is the problem here. Yes, those other dogs are dangerous, but it's the decision making and the brainwashing that we push down into these kids' minds. Take note of something else that's going on right here. This woman and this child are both stroking on the dog instead of holding each other's hand. The mom, instead of putting her hand right here around the little girl's shoulders, instead they're sitting there touching on the dog. At one point they have to shake the dog hair off of their hands. It's absolutely ridiculous. And this little 45-second scene, this is the core issue with dog culture. Pushing dogs as good family friends. The frickin' things belong out in a dog house with a bowl of water and a bowl of food, and that's it. Putting these dogs up close to kids and portraying them in this way equals all of these scars on this girl's face. And this whole thing about not being willing to give your fellow humans affection, but they're going to sit there and rub their hands all over this dog, all up on this dog that probably just got done licking up a turd or something. Absolutely ridiculous. Now I want to show you part of another story in this documentary.
Would lead to that. But she still has moments where I can tell she looks in the mirror, or she literally will come to me and she goes, "Mommy, how long do I have to look like this? Why?" And she always is like, "Why did this have to happen to me? Why?
Why does this have to happen to me?" Here we go with this guilt shaming again.
What did I do to deserve this? I just don't understand.
Where do you think those feelings came from, though? That comes from the primary dog culture. No bad dogs, only bad humans. Respect the dog's space. Teach children to respect the dog's space. Right? Then what happens to them?
And it's, as a mom, it makes you feel helpless. We have to face this. I can't allow her to run away every time she sees a dog.
Yep, here we go. This brainwashing of the parents is so sick and so deep within their heads. This mom, her problem is that the kid might run away from a dog. Her problem isn't the multiple bites. Her problem isn't the ridiculous ownership of dogs. No, her problem is that she needs to somehow further suppress her child's righteous fear against dogs. It's fucking ridiculous, and this is the core problem with this dog culture. Teaching kids that being afraid of dogs is some kind of bad thing. No. Running away from dogs, going on a nice jog, and climbing up a tree would have saved this girl from all this terrible trauma.
They're a part of the world, they're a part of society, and they're everywhere.
They're part of the world, they're part of society, they're everywhere. We need to brainwash our kids to run towards them and hug them and respect them. Are you absolutely freaking brain dead, people? Like, I'm not even ripping on this woman. She got all these ideas from all the stupid crap that's pushed out about dog ownership.
And if I let you run away every time you see one, you're never ever going to be able to get over this.
Why does she need to get over her fear of dogs? Doesn't that seem like a bunch of bullshit? You know what she should be able to do? They should give her free time on the radio, YouTube. They should give her stage time and let her talk about her story. Her fear of dogs, she should be able to share it with other people, not suppress it and be told to be quiet and be told to not run away from dogs. If you want to run away from a dog, you can damn well do it. Dogs run wherever they want all the time. Why do we have to suppress our movements as humans for the sake of a ridiculous mutt?
Always going to have this fear. That's not fair to you. It makes me feel like every time we run away and we cower, they win. And I'm not having that.
Well, if you don't want to run away and cower, that's fine. But you better have some type of product on your hip to defend yourself from dogs then. You know, the way they talk about this is like, we're not supposed to be afraid of dogs. Well, the way to not be afraid of dogs is to deal some freaking justice on these MRFers, and then we won't have to be afraid of them because they'll be gone and they won't kill our children. How about that? While this documentary is pretty good, they're still doing this whole thing about it's not the dog's fault, it's your fault. Watch this little part.
Always report it. Even if you don't want to go through the designation or the criminal charges, at least have it on file and report it so somebody can do an investigation. I don't know how many times we go out on an incident. What happened 4 times before or 3 times or whatever it was? Okay, we've never been reported. We've never had a report. Why aren't you?
You mean you don't record it? So you see what just happened there? He just admitted that he goes out on multiple dog calls, but it's not his fault. He doesn't have to protect the public because you didn't properly report it. So we're back at blame the humans for all these problems. This dog warden and his Humane Society contacts, they promote dog ownership. They promote it. They work in the Humane Society. They see all the nasty stuff that's done by dogs, but they're going to put that responsibility back on the public. The public who is largely clueless to this.
You guys doing anything? Because it's never been reported to us.
It's never been reported, but you just admitted that you've been out on multiple dog calls. It's in your logbook somewhere that happened. Just because somebody didn't do a bunch of filing fees or complete a bunch of paperwork. So again, you're just pushing the responsibility back on the public. It's like taxpayer funds pay for this type of protection, yet you're always going to find a way to let the dog get out of the responsibility.
I think that we should definitely look at.
So listen to the way he talks right now. This is exactly how they always talk when there's a dog attack. It's like, well, what we're going to see about thinking of is what when with a dog was a law in a book that there might be just blah, 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 talking around the whole thing.
The laws that we have and take a serious look at them to see what we can do to
look
make it better, clear them up, and then definitely look at the penalties too.
Oh, and then we're gonna look, and then we're gonna look and see, then we're gonna see what, and then this guy, his job security relies on children being mauled and dogs being hoarded. He's not going to do shit about it, and he's not going to allow the public to be smart enough to do shit about it.
Clear some of them up too, and maybe make some of them stiffer if we can.
So we're going to maybe like see if there could be.
I think the owners should be responsible for their pets.
So see, again, it's the owner's fault. It's not the law enforcement people that have a million times more knowledge about these dogs. Remember, this guy is the dog warden. We'll look at a little bit of that more in a while.
They are personal property in the state of Ohio, so let's hold them accountable accordingly.
Well, then just take their personal property away from them. If I owned a chainsaw that randomly flew out of my front door and cut somebody, where would that chainsaw be? That thing would be in frickin' police custody.
It's a very difficult thing for it kills a human being, and it really shouldn't be that way. If the dog has shown violent tendencies, in this case numerous times over the course of well over a year, the owners themselves have responsibility.
Yeah, but see, they always have a way around that favors dog ownership. Well, y'all didn't do one of them there reports and bang old shang dang do boop a doop. You see, this is all just a bunch of brainwashing bullshit. Have a look at this light bulb moment.
That doesn't. I can't even wrap my head around that. That doesn't even. That doesn't make sense. So they kill one, you're going to give them an opportunity to do it again. So that means that we are protecting animal lives more than we are human.
It just
boom. There it is. That's the freaking problem. It starts as a kid and it's all the way up to your top lawmakers and top congresspeople that will blow through billions of your taxpayer money to fill your neighborhoods with more dogs. So here is your Licking County Dog Shelter webpage. You can go give them a bunch of money. They got, 800 homeless dogs come into there each year, okay? But look, they want you to go on Amazon and buy stuff for them. Buy these beds. Do they have any information about anything else on here about dangerous dogs? Nope. Well, they want you to buy these right here. They want you to donate all this stuff to them. I guess that huge tax bill that they got, that wasn't enough. Not only did we get a bunch of your taxpayer money, but please go buy us a bunch of stuff. Freaking freeloaders. So they're in Licking County. There's two different organizations. Okay, there is the dog shelter, right? And then there is the Humane Society. So your dog warden guy, he works for both of these places. He coordinates between both of these places. So this place is already a nonprofit, which means they can take money and then that can be written off on their taxes. So this is an indirect bill to all the taxpayers. You guys are paying for this. You're paying for these mauled children. You're paying to have cities full of hoarded dogs. And yep, there it is. The dog warden works with those places. So while he's sitting there, he sits there telling Ohio citizens, they need to report this stuff better. They didn't do the reporting right. They're irresponsible. While he sits there and tells you that, he's also part of those organizations that are taking in taxpayer money, taking in money from federal spending bills, taking in dogs from other states, and pushing those dogs out into your community. Guys, this is like a perfect storm of job security for people like this. No security for the citizens. Just bring in a bunch of more dogs, let them cause problems, and they'll send these two guys out to your house to tell you that it was your fault. Wow. Do you guys realize just how absolutely freaking ridiculous this dog culture situation is? So you can look all this stuff up. Columbus, Ohio. There is their operating budget write-up. Right there. Okay? Next up. They receive federal funding that can support various health and human services. Many of those dog things are included with that. It's like what I told you in the opening, remember? Remember the House bill? Remember the $1 million to cover veterinary stuff? While all that money pours into the state, what about the education and the prevention of these dog bites? What type of resources are being put into protecting those kids? So, Licking County Humane Society. What else do? They bring more dogs in. Oh, a hoarding situation? Perfect. Taxpayer money can clean that situation up, bring them to the Humane Society. All the expenses for these situations right here, they can be write-offs. If it's part of that 501c3 that I told you, they can write that off and allow the taxpayers to help them with all of these dogs. Dog hoarding, and they bring these dogs also in from other states too. So while your shelters are overflowing, your Humane Society is overflowing, you got stray dogs attacking kids, well, the Humane Society, they're going to bring in more dogs. Wow. So while Ohio commits filicide, using all your money to fill your cities with dogs, maybe they should do something about this. They got a violent crime problem. I guess all those dogs aren't helping with that, are they? So that has been a look at the case of filicide in Ohio. What do you guys think about all this? Should we be paying these people to propagate dogs while they completely ignore their job of keeping citizens safe? Should Ohio be taking in all these dogs? Does all this crazy dog ownership do anything good for the dogs when these hoarding situations are more and more through the roof? Yet we pay the Humane Society, we pay all these other tax shelter organizations to fix the hoarding problem, yet strangely, it gets worse, right along with every other dog culture problem.